Hello, hello, hello. It's Bronte Spicer, and today I'm going to talk about how to stop feeling drained when you're around someone who's feeling negative or around negative people. So, we all know what that's like when we have someone in front of us and they're really negative and they're draining our energy, and we don't want to feel drained with them. And so this topic came up in my Sacred Circle Holder course a couple of months ago when I ran it. And when we started to look and kind of tap into this and unpack what was happening when we felt drained by when we were around other people, we realized that it wasn't like the other person's fault or that they were draining us. There was a level of personal responsibility and self responsibility that was required for us to really look to see why we were losing energy and draining and feeling drained in the presence of this other person, because no one else can actually make you feel drained. So when we are with someone who's negative, and that they might be complaining about everything that's going wrong in their life or in their world, we can feel their emotions. We can feel it, and sometimes we take on their emotions. And so we're kind of tapping into their energy field, and we're tapping into their emotions, and then we are feeling drained. There is also a part of us that, um, and this is kind of what we discovered in Sacred Circle Holder, that what if we just allowed that person to be as negative and as draining and as complainy as they wanted to be? So it kind of shifted the feeling of the conversation between you and with one person and the person who's negative. So when we move and shift ourselves into a space where we're not trying to prop these people up who are negative, and instead we're actually holding space, we're holding a space and a place, an energetic space that's held in love, empathy, and compassion. When we're holding that person and allowing that person to be as drained and negative and complaining as much as they want to, then what we noticed, and in my own experience, what I notice is that when I stop trying to make this person positive and stop trying to fix their problems and stop trying to solve the issues that they're battling or dealing with, then I didn't feel drained anymore. So it wasn't so much the person was draining and taking my energy and sucking and zapping energy from me. It was more my own deficiency stories, my own belief system that I needed to try and make this person positive and upbeat and happy again. And there's also a level of this is my fault, and deep down, this is my fault that this person is like this, and I need to fix this. I need to fix this person. Person has come to me, and I need to make them feel better. And this can come into our client sessions for those of you who are running your own businesses. When you are feeling like drained and like, oh, this person is so negative and they're constantly complaining, just start to look to see what your reaction is. What's your response to this? And perhaps check in to see, are you trying? Is there an agenda here for you to try and pep them up and prop them up and make them positive? Because when we hold this space in place for others who are feeling negative, which might I add, this is a very normal part of being human, that every single person, every single human being feels negative. And this idea of being positive all the time is ludicrous and it's unattainable. It's not possible. So this, and now I'm kind of going off track into society, this societal conditions. When we feel as though we have to be positive all the time, this actually drains us of energy and it makes us more tired of trying to be positive when all our body wants to do is to be heavy and draining and uh, heavy. I think heavy is the best word. And we don't always feel light and free. Sometimes we feel heavy. So, and when we also take the place of the person who is in negativity, and we do feel like our world is falling apart, and we do, we feel drained ourselves, and we just want someone to talk to. Having someone on the other side who's listening to us, who's actually just trying to make us feel different to how we are feeling, that doesn't leave us feeling heard and received just as we are. And we can internalize it as we feel like we are wrong and we need to change and we need to fix ourselves and that we shouldn't be negative. So there's this whole paradigm and conditioning and collective belief around negativity being bad. So that's how it is received when if you have a think about when you just that when your world was falling apart and you went to someone and they were trying to solve your problems and they were um, trying to pep you up and prop you up and make you feel positive and happy again, how did you feel? Did you feel received? Did you feel okay? Did you feel heard? Did you feel witnessed and seen and welcomed just as you are? And probably not. So let's just go back to you as the person who's listening to the person who's feeling negative. When you drop that idea that you have to prop that person up and fix them and make them happy and fix their problems and help them see clearly again, when you drop all that and you just let that person in front of you be as negative as they need to be, then you will notice, or this is what I notice that I relax and I'm not drained by the person who's negative in front of me. And that person can be as negative as they want to be, and it doesn't impact me. So we don't need to create energy protections, or we don't have to create any type of energetic shields to protect ourselves from other people's energies, because our world is based on our own body, on our own energy, on our own emotions, on our own reactions, our own responses. When you feel drained, it's not the other person's fault. It's your response. It's our response to how we are responding to having someone who is negative. And so they're not actually like sapping energy from you. This is just a process of you feeling exhausted, trying to change what's happening right in front of you. And that is that person's negative. And a part of you might feel like, this is wrong. I have to make this person positive again. And so what drains you and exhausts you is the part of you that is resisting what's actually happening, which is that person is feeling negative in front of you. It's like the exhaustion and the suffering and the pain comes from resisting what is actually happening right now. And that simple concept can be relayed to like so many parts of life. Yeah, thanks, Nat. I'm glad you resonate. So, so basically, in summary, you can be in company and in the presence of people who are negative and not feel drained. You can feel relaxed, peaceful, open, empathetic, compassionate, loving, supportive when other people are drained, are feeling drained and feeling negative. And so what happens is when you hold that space for those people, then and you give themselves full permission to be as drained and as negative as they and complain as much as they need to and want to, then it actually offers them a sense of empowerment when they realize that they can just be fully who they are and in their stuckness and in their drained experience. Then they have the clarity then to see what's going to work for them. Sometimes they might just need a vent, and that solves a lot of things. Or sometimes just sharing, them venting and sharing, they can get so much clarity from that. And you don't have to solve the problems. You don't have to have the answers for them. This is what holding space is, and this is what sacred circles are based on. But holding space is, that this is what holding space is, just allowing the person to be as they are without trying to shift or change or fix them. And that can be more powerful than any other technique, modality, advice, idea that you have or solution that you might have. Each and every person has the inclination and the wisdom and their own intelligence within them. And when we hold space for other people, we're really creating that space for them to find their own clarity and their own wisdom. So they build up a sense of trust in who they are, and they build a sense of trust in their own internal resources. So they don't feel like a hopeless case that can't have their life together or can't get their life together. And they start to realize that they do have the answers within them when that space is held for them to come to their own realizations. So please don't. I want you to know that there is another way, that you don't have to just avoid people who are negative or avoid people who complain a lot or avoid people who are or who you feel like they are draining you, because there is this freedom that you can feel when you let go of trying to fix them. You can just be with them. You can just hold space for them. You can just be an open ear without needing to fix or change them. And I'm inviting you to consider what is really draining you. For me, it was this exhaustion trying to make this person positive when all they needed was to be negative. It's a great topic. I love this topic so much. I'd love to know how this sits with you, how this resonates with you. And I just invite us all to hold space for ourselves and hold space for each other. Thanks, lovelies. Have a beautiful evening.